Hey guys, I'm SimpleSimon, and recently I went on my first ever trip to Japan, and I got to experience this amazing country while shopping for collectibles, eating all kinds of amazing food, shopping for collectibles, visiting some of the tourist hotspots, and shopping for more collectibles. In this first episode of Simple Japan, we arrive in Tokyo and get to do all the things that I've seen on YouTube, like eat my first egg sandwich, we adventure into the nerd capital of Japan, Akihabara, and visit famous stores like Don Quijote, as well as 2 hard-off stores, amongst other collectible stores. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy this video, please show some love by giving this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that bell because this video series is likely to last for a few months. Before we get stuck into this first episode, I want to tell you about one of my channel sponsors, Defender Hobby Supplies. Defender makes storage and protection for all your collectibles, from comic books to trading cards to physical media and vinyl, and are available at Collectors Hub. And you can get 10% off with my affiliate link in the video description, along with a discount code. But if you do shop there, just make sure you use my affiliate link because it helps me out a great deal. And with that out of the way, this is Simple Japan. Quick shout out to my Siminions, your support means the world, and if you want exclusive, members only videos and exclusive emojis, hit the join button to find out more, but always remember, your membership is not required. The best way to support the channel is by liking and commenting on videos. So we had arrived at Melbourne Airport and we were ready for the trip of a lifetime, only to find out that our plane was delayed by 1 hour. And then after 1 hour, we only had to wait another hour and 30 minutes before we were on a plane and ready for the trip of a lifetime. I was super excited because this was my first time ever going to Japan. Sarah went when she was 11 years old for a school trip. How crazy is that for a school trip? And here's some food porn to start off this vlog. I guarantee you the food footage gets much better as this series progresses. But Sarah actually rated this dish right here. She said, I would totally eat this again. There you go. Well done, Qantas. And after just a short 10-hour flight and a couple of tasty meals later, we had arrived in Japan. So then I was introduced to the Japanese train system, which is absolutely bonkers. But lucky for me, Sarah was ultra prepared and she knew exactly where we were going. And we also got to experience our first vending machine. I was excited. We desperately needed some water, but I was fascinated by all these products. Like, what is Calorie Mate? Is it for someone who doesn't want calories or someone who needs calories? Let me know in the comments if you know. And we finally decided on some water, and we chose Ion Water, which turns out wasn't water at all. It was, wait, does that say sweat? Oh dear. Then we finally arrived at our hotel where we were happily greeted by... So the reception here was actually run by robots and they weren't creepy at all. But I guess it was Halloween and I love the fact that these guys were even dressed up for Halloween. I learned to love these guys by the end of our stay. And one of the main reasons we came during October was because a lot of things would be Halloween themed. Now, we didn't arrive till very late. It was about 11:30 at night, so we didn't really have time to explore the city. All we really had time for was to visit a 7-Eleven because, you know, it's Japan. And their 7-Elevens are totally next level. The legends are true. There was so much to choose from. I wanted to try everything, but we had plenty of time in Japan to try everything. And to remember the week that we arrived, Sarah really wanted to pick up one of these weekly manga magazines which highlight the latest chapters from all your favorite manga titles. The alcohol here at 7-Eleven is beyond ridiculous. Almost everything is under $2. If you are spending more than $2 on a can of alcohol, you are ballin'. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Jack's Timeless Treasures, who gave us about $15 worth of Japanese yen left over from his recent trip to Japan, and he was kind enough to gift it to us. So
there's your first dinner on me.
Thank you. There you go. So courtesy of Jack's Timeless Treasures, my first meal was a tuna mayonnaise onigiri, which is like a triangle type of sushi. It was delicious, and I followed that up with some pancakes and whipped cream. Anything with whipped cream or custard in Japan is absolutely delicious. I also had my first run-in with the Japanese toilet, but you'll have to be a channel member to see that kind of content. And before you know it, it was the next morning, our first real day in Japan, and there was only one way that I want to start my first morning. First official day in Japan. Last night we got in pretty late. It was like 11:30, I think, when we checked in, so we didn't really get to experience much. We did go for a trip to 7-Eleven, but today is officially day one. And I'm going to try my egg sandwich, which I'm very excited about. I really don't know if it's going to live up to the hype, but let's see. This is from Lawson's as well. This is not from 7-Eleven. This is where Sanimation recommended, actually, was the Lawson's egg sandwich. Alright. How good can an egg sandwich be? Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. I got an egg and ham one as well. Egg, ham, and cheese in this one. Yeah, that plain egg sandwich is better. Wow. Interesting. Got myself a cold latte. Cheers. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright, today we're going to Akihabara. Let's go. So there was a lot to take in on our first day. Mario go-karts flying around the streets, all kinds of crazy signage, anime advertising, and I came across my first collectibles. And they're only 10 meters this way, so let's go! Now, something I learned very quickly in Japan was that most places don't open until 10 AM. The only things open before that are normally cafes where you can get breakfast and coffee, but most stores actually don't open until 10 AM, and stores like this that sell collectibles often don't open until 11 or more commonly 12 PM. So while this shop was closed at the time, I do come back and visit this in a later vlog. There's the name of the shop just in case you want to know. So the first store that we actually found that was open was this tiny little gift shop. It was like a souvenir store, really aimed at tourists, but they had really cool things in there, like all these cats, and you know me and Sarah love our cats, so there's plenty of cute cats to look at. They also had fancy chopsticks and a whole bunch of great gift ideas. Like I said, it was a souvenir shop, so the prices were a little high. Sarah did buy some things, but you will see our haul from our first day at the end of the video. Alright, so we're walking around. Nothing opens till 11, so I want to get a coffee, and there's only one place I know that makes a consistent coffee. So it was day one and I already found myself inside a McDonald's, and something they didn't offer at their McDonald's was different milk options. I normally have oat milk because I'm lactose intolerant, but only some coffee shops like Starbucks will offer different milk options. Now I wish I kept the screen up here because the next screen said order number 69, but unfortunately I missed out on some childish comedy gold, and then I got my coffee and I noticed the mouthpieces are absolutely huge. And they also had gacha machines everywhere in Japan. We came across this store which looks super cool, but unfortunately it was not open yet. I do come back to this shop on our very last day of this trip though, so there'll be a bit of a wait before you get to see the inside of that shop, but it was one of the coolest shops I'd seen in Japan. So the first shop we thought we'd stop off at was the famous Don Quijote. So Don Quijote is a huge retail chain in Japan. They sell everything from household items to electronics to cosmetics to collectibles and toys. In fact, you name it, there's a good chance they'll sell it. And this was a huge Don Quijote which had multiple levels. I think there might have been 7 levels, maybe even 8 levels in this store. So we spent quite a bit of time soaking up the madness. There was so much stuff that would just make you stop and look. Now I needed some deodorant to prevent stinkiness, but which one should I get? Should I get Freeze Peach or Ice Citrus or maybe Cold Ocean? Let me know in the comments which one you think I ended up getting, but you will find out at the end of the vlog. And then up to the next level we went, and there was t-shirts and, oh dear, Pokemon and Sanrio on the same level? Yeah, we might be here for a while. Now, something I did love about Japan was the amount of Pokemon and Sanrio madness. All kinds of products, almost every product you can think of, there would be some sort of Sanrio variation or a Pokemon collaboration. And I'm not even a huge Pokemon or Sanrio or even anime person, but I loved seeing it around everywhere. And I'm not totally all up with the anime lingo, but I believe this section was called the waifu section. Well, that's what I'm calling it anyway. There was waifus everywhere. If you are a waifu loving guy, this was your section. Hashtag waifu guy. And right next to the waifu section, I got my first taste of Marvel and DC product, which was cool to finally see. And I also spotted my first Street Fighter collectible. I didn't buy it, I just saw it. I'm also obsessed with these awesome, I'm assuming BB guns, like the ones we used to have in the day, but they look so real, which is why we would never be able to bring something like this back to Australia, but they were awesome to look at, and I can't believe they're not real. There was a lot of great t-shirts, but they were quite highly priced, so I did hold back on buying any shirts. Don Quixote is a little bit of a tourist trap, and my world was spinning from trying to take in all this stuff. Now, something people often say is when you go to Japan, you want to buy some more luggage to bring home all the stuff that you bought, and they've got some of the coolest suitcases you'll ever see. They had heaps of cool Zippo lighters, even though I can't remember the last time anyone used a Zippo lighter. And again, for the waifu guys, these here can help you relieve stress. They had so many different playing cards, and you guys know I collect playing cards, but I didn't buy a single set of playing cards while I was there, but they had a world of options, and I'm actually getting FOMO now that I didn't buy any. This mascot here has been working out, and then it was time to go to the next level, and this next level, look at it. Look at the welcoming we got from this next level. It is beautiful, isn't it? This was the toys and collectibles section. They had action figures, they had anime statues, they had anime bunny girls, they had more stress relief for the waifu guys, they had weird and wacky things like this. I don't know what this is, but apparently cats are liquid. And converting the Japanese yen couldn't have been easier. It was basically 100 yen was $1. So it was like seeing it in Australian cents. So 10,000 yen would be $100. It really made life easy. So that was our first Don Quixote experience, and while we do visit more Don Quixotes while we're in Japan, this was the main big one and the main one that I vlogged. Next, we dropped into another place that I often see on YouTube, which is Taito Station, which is filled full of arcade games and skill testers and claw machines, and I thought I'd have a crack. Alright, so I'm in Taito Station. Sarah's just using the bathroom. I'm thinking maybe I should try to win a prize. What do you reckon? Some of the prizes in these things are insane. So I had spotted my machine and I'm about to win a Chun-Li statue. You better believe it. 200 yen, so that's about $2 to play, and one Chun-Li statue coming up. God damn it. One more. Alright, second time's a charm, that's what they say, so get ready for my new Chun-Li statue. Far out. Anyway, let's see some real Street Fighter. Oh, I can hear Dawkins. I can hear Street Fighter. Let's go. So something we don't have back home anymore is arcades. Now, we do have arcades, but we don't have these type of arcades anymore. You know, with video games, all you have are skill tester type ones, drum beat and music machine type ones. You don't have video games with joysticks anymore in Australian arcades. You only find them in retro gaming bars, which are few and far between. But I was shocked to see that Street Fighter 6 was on arcade and you could play with a PlayStation controller. That's wild. And then our next stop was somewhere I was super excited to visit because I'd seen a ton of YouTube videos on these places. Alright, we're gonna go to a hard-off shop, and I've been watching hard-off videos for the last few months, so I'm super excited, and we're gonna find some cool stuff hopefully. So for those who don't know, Hard Off is a chain of second-hand goods stores all over Japan, and there are a number of different versions of these stores. You've got Hobby Off, as you can see there. I believe Hobby Off more specializes in collectibles and statues and things. Hard Off specializes more in electronics. And then there's Book Off, which specializes more in books and physical media, but they all have a really good range of things between them all, and we do visit a few Book Offs later in our trip. So as I mentioned, for months leading up to this trip, I've been watching heaps of videos from YouTubers who are mostly retro game collectors, visiting Hard Off stores and finding all kinds of things, but those guys all know their stuff. I don't really know what I'm looking for, except if you saw my plan for Japan video I released before leaving, you'll know I'm on the hunt for a game called School Rumble, which was based on an old anime on PS2 or PSP. And while on the hunt for School Rumble, I stumbled across bangers like Pride Grand Prix. Pride was an MMA organization in Japan back in the day, and they were way bigger than UFC at the time. Here's another one. In hindsight, I should have probably bought a couple of these, and look at the back there. Just legends and pioneers of MMA on the back. That is awesome. And it was made by Capcom. The only one that got released in Australia was made by THQ, which I do happen to have in my games collection. So I'm sure there's plenty of gems hidden amongst this Hard Off, but to really find those gems, you really have to have a good dig, and you'll never know what's underneath what. This store also had a really cool selection of different vinyl, some that I'd never seen before, and some absolute classics. Rest in peace, Ace Frehley. And they also had a ton of old electronics like amplifiers, VCRs, etc. And then upstairs, I believe, was the Hobby Off, which was all of their collectibles. So something that I had noticed on my first day in Tokyo was that most of the collectibles I was seeing in stores was more geared at anime fans, obviously being in Japan, but I was more on the hunt for comic book related collectibles, nostalgic movie related collectibles. So as this vlog series progresses, I do start to go to stores and hunt specifically for those type of items, but being the first day here, I was just taking it all in. I do love the effort they put into their displays. Like, look at these guys doing the meme. And here is more the type of stuff that I'm looking for. Marvel, DC. I'm obviously after anything Street Fighter, and this statue pops up everywhere. You got My Hero Academia here, which I did used to watch. And downstairs they had the junk section. That's right, junk. And why would someone want junk? Well, you know the saying, one man's junk is another person's treasure. In fact, some people would see my room and see all the cool stuff in here and refer to it as junk. So I believe a lot of the stuff down in this junk room is mostly stock that's either been around forever and they just want to clear it out at a super cheap price, or it's electronics that are faulty or untested. So if you're a bit of a handyman and you can fix electronics, well, you might be able to find yourself a really good bargain here, fix it up yourself, and voila. You got yourself an old gaming console that's as good as new. So this stuff would be perfect for someone like Johnny from Gotta Sell 'Em All, who also happens to love Wii Fit. So, one hard off store down and a million to go. We head straight to another hard off store which wasn't too far away. Now, just a heads up, I thought that my trip to Japan was going to be made up of dozens of visits to hard off stores. These are the only 2 hard off stores we went to for the entire trip because there were none around. But we do go to some book off stores and other stores which are just like them, if not better. Now, something that became challenging while hunting for my school rumble game was there are so many games they're always displayed spined, and most of them, because we're in Japan, are written in Japanese. So if you cannot read Japanese, finding the game you're after becomes quite challenging. How cool is this Major League soundtrack? I used to love that movie growing up. Now this hard off actually was quite small, even smaller than the previous one, so we didn't actually stick around too long. And how many cigarettes did this previous owner smoke? God damn. So right next door to that unimpressive hard off was this store, Gino Q-Pass, which also had a ton of secondhand video games. And now that we're done with visiting hard off stores for this entire vlog series, I guess what I learnt was, and correct me if I'm wrong, there didn't seem to be any hard off stores near any of the main cities. I believe they're more common in smaller towns, so we just didn't happen to have any near any of the places that we stayed. But like I said, we do go to some book off stores and some other stores that are just like hard off, if not better. One place that does have many locations also is Mandrake. Mandrake also specializes in secondhand collectibles. This is a massive multi-story building filled with different collectibles on each level. And while I was in Japan, I visited, I think, 4 Mandrakes, maybe even 5, but each of those stores will get their own video. We only actually looked at the first level of this Mandrake store on this visit. Like I said, I do revisit this later on our travels, and you will get the full tour in its own video, so do keep an eye out for all of the Mandrake videos. And then the last shop we visited was the Kotobukiya shop, which I had planned out before we even got to Japan, but it turns out that you cannot take videos in the store, only photos. So I took a few photos to show you guys. Here's some cool scissors I saw. But I was really excited to visit the Kotobukiya shop, so I'm spewing I couldn't make a proper video, but I've got to say, if you collect action figures like I do, you will see straight away how Japan take the hobby of collecting action figures to the next level. Stuff they have available to collectors is stuff we'll never have in Australia, not at a decent price anyway. So while we did say we were going to be cautious on our first few days in Tokyo with spending, we did happen to come home with quite a few things. Gonna do a quick haul from our first day. So we went to a lot of shops today. We did Don Quixote. I bought just essentials because there's a Don Quixote everywhere we're gonna go. So I bought a towel to dry my hair, because apparently if I dry my hair with the hotel's towels, they might charge us for staining their towels. I bought the Gatsby deodorant so I could smell like a cold ocean. I went with the cold ocean in the end. And apart from that, I bought a packet of, check that out, Ryzen trading cards. So Ryzen is like a Japanese MMA organization. So I don't know a lot of the fighters. I know some fighters in here, but not a lot. So, but I thought they worked out to be like 60 cents. So I thought I'd buy a packet of Ryzen trading cards. Sarah, though, she'd be a bit better than me. She bought a bunch of stuff. First thing she bought, she couldn't help herself. I pointed it out. I was like, that's pretty cute. And this is to represent our trip to Japan. She's got a little kuromi in a, what do you call that thing?
Kimono.
Kimono, that's what they're called.
The lady was so nice, I wanted to give her my money.
So Sarah got a compliment on her Japanese. Sarah's learned everything, so she says the hellos, but that's the scary thing, right? So I feel like if I start greeting people in Japanese, they're going to assume I know the language. So that lady started, Sarah was hanging for the first few lines, and then she started going full Japanese, and Sarah's like, oh, sorry, I don't understand. And then she asked Sarah, where are you from? She said, Australia. And she said, your Japanese is very good. And Sarah was very happy and thrilled about that. All right. From Don Quixote, we did say we weren't going to buy too much because apparently the prices there are quite high. But these are all little cheap things that Sarah bought. What's this figure called? What's this?
It's a Hana.
Yeah, it's a Hana.
Don't get enough of her in Australia.
So that's a Sanrio character, but one of the lesser popular ones. So
She's getting there. She's getting up there.
Yeah, so you don't see as much of this
in Australia
merch from this character. This is like a Tamagotchi plush. Right, so Sarah's on the hunt for a Tamagotchi, like a vintage Tamagotchi from her childhood, which we're hoping to find in a hard off. The two hard off shops we went to today were very small ones, so I'm sure we'll run into some bigger ones. Is that for you?
Yeah.
This is... Who's it?
The Don Quixote mascot.
Oh, the Don Quixote mascot. That's a good one to get too, actually. Sarah bought these framed portrait magnets of Final Fantasy. She bought one for herself and one for her friend Christy, who's a streamer who streams a lot of Final Fantasy.
Give me my man Sir Emmerich
Go.
Graha. They're the two I'm trying to get.
And Sarah also picked up her first Smisky. How do you say it?
I think so.
Smisky? There's like this little...
Correct us guys from Uemar.
Yeah. Little blob boy kind of guy.
You can open
I can open it.
You can do the reveal.
Oh, okay. So these are little blind boxes, and Sarah's given me permission to open it up. The first one. Are you going to put this on your Uemar stand?
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, there you go. Here's a little... Oh, it's cool. Wait, hang on. There's 2 characters in here. Oh my god, that's pretty funny. Do they all have 2 characters in there?
I've never opened one before. I thought you just got one.
Alright, so there's this dude, but no, it's like another one carrying this one. Look.
Oh.
So it's like a little dude carrying big dude.
Double whammy. Wait, is that the secret?
Is it? Is it the secret?
Because it's not one of the pictured ones.
No, it is the secret. Look at
Is
that.
it?
Yeah.
Because there's a sitting down one, but this one, yeah, it's got the little...
I'm pretty sure Sarah got the secret one. How good's that? See, Japan.
Correct us if we're wrong.
Yeah, hopefully we're right. But there's the secret one, I think.
Oh my god, it is the secret.
How good is that? How good is that? So Sarah pulled the secret. That's fantastic. Sarah also picked this up, which is super cool. So it's actually a Pokemon soap, right? But once the soap runs out, it's a mystery. It's like a blind bag as well. So there's all these different Pokemon you can get. Once the soap's actually used, there's a little collectible in there. That's really cool. All right, that's our haul from the first day. We still got tonight, and we'll see how we go. Next time on Simple Japan, I hit the streets of Tokyo all by myself, and I'm hunting for some food. I revisit the anime shop that was closed earlier in the day, do some toy shopping, and stumble across a craft beer pub. If you guys are still watching this video, I appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed the first episode of Simple Japan. We were there for a bit over 2 weeks, so about 2.5 weeks. I've got so much footage to show you guys, and even though the trip is over, I'm glad I'm going to be able to relive it by making this video series. So if you guys didn't catch my last update from Japan video, I made a 2-minute trailer highlighting the 2.5 weeks that we were there. I'm going to finish this video off with that to give you a sneak peek of what's to come on this series. And again, if you are new and you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell, and get ready for more Simple Japan. Until next time, I'm SimpleSimon. Tell your friends and keep it simple.